Let's paint some heat bloom. Hello, I'm Marcel.
And I'm Mrs. Snakeworks. To paint heat bloom on a weapon, you need a weapon.
So the example we will be using is this multi-melta on this Elysian Sentinel. We begin with a metal base that we've previously painted. Is the proper term heat bloom or heat staining? I never did know. Also, heat bloom reminds me of that old song. Bloom, 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 I want you in my room. We'll spend the night together for always and forever. Ah, the Venga Boys, remember those? Wonderful stuff. These are the colours we will be using for our heat bloom effects. You don't need these exact colours, anything similar should be fine, I think. First up, it's a yellow, and the yellow we're using is Imperial Fist contrast paint. Using the yellow, we paint almost all of the silver part of the barrel. We just leave a small band at the rear end of the barrel. Now I reckon there's a real-life scientific reason as to why this heat bloom happens. But I'm not a scientist, so I don't know what it is. I bet someone watching does though, and if they do, they should let us all know in the comments below. You can see here the results of that yellow layer. We have a yellow tint and it's left some of the metallic showing from underneath. Next up, it's Vallejo model colour orange red. It's not the best orange, but it's all I have on hand at the moment. An orange contrast would in fact be a better pick, or even a nice bright orange paint. Using the orange, we paint another band on the barrel. We leave a little of the yellow showing, but paint all the way up to the end of the barrel. The out end. What is the proper term for the opening of a barrel? Someone must know.
You can see the orange on the barrel here. It's also still wet. We do have to wait for it to dry, so a little patience is the order of the day. I'm working here. Do you mind?
No, I don't.
When it's dry, the next colour is Vermillion Red by Vallejo. This has pretty poor coverage, so it's great for this sort of work. Also, apparently, Vermillion has something to do with worms, but nobody has ever been able to confirm or deny it. Can you? Much like before, we paint another band of colour next to the orange band, leaving some orange showing, which in turn leads some yellow showing. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Here are the rest styles of the red layer. Oh, restyles. Here are the restyles.
Results.
Oh, okay. Here are the results of the red layer. You can see we are starting to create a colour transition now, but it still doesn't look right, does it? That's because we need some more colours. I like all colours. Okay, black then, because I'm now in a black mood. Okay, I like white because it's all colours. It is, isn't it?
That's fine.
Okay.
I suppose at the end of the day, we're really just painting a rainbow on the end of a barrel. Although I think rainbows have green in, and we won't be using any green. Also, fun fact today, green is my least favourite colour. So today's big question is, which is your favourite colour? Let us all know in the comments below. That is the most boringly bland question I've ever asked, I think. We spoke about this before, but recently the Snakeworks family took a trip to Finland where I saw these people skiing. Now, I've never tried it before, but those slopes did look enticing. Do any of you guys ski? Is it a good hobby? I might have to look into it. Also, I appear to have captured someone paddling down the slopes. Now, I'm not convinced this is an official recognised skiing technique. Okay then, another Vallejo paint up next, and this time it's violet. A nice purple colour, if a little dark. You probably guessed it, but we're doing the same as what we did in the previous steps, painting inside the previous colour. Try to be as neat and tidy as you can for the best effect, although any mistakes will be sorted out toward the end. You can see the purple has kicked all the weird red and orange look out, but we do now have a weird purple look. Now sometimes when you're painting, things can look a little bit weird, a little bit wrong. I think they refer to it as the ugly phase or ugly stage. It's times like this when you just have to trust the process and get on with it, because it all comes out right in the end. Usually. I think the correct phrase for that is it all comes out in the wash, or is that when people get caught cheating? Right then, let's move on to a blue. The blue we will be using is this, Vallejo Dark Blue. We probably should have used contrast paints for all of these colours, by the way. Maybe we'll try that next time. You know the deal by now. Paint a band of the colour inside the previous band. We're actually coming towards the end of the barrel now and running out of space. This is good as it means we're almost done and the effect is starting to work, which is always handy. Here's the barrel with the blue on. It's now starting to look a lot better. For some reason, the blue makes all the difference to the effect. Maybe it's the blue which is the most important colour. Now I think the place I probably see the most of these heat staining effects is on motorbike exhausts. Now I don't know if those motorbike exhausts are bought like that or if it actually happens over time. I myself am not really a motorbike expert. I do actually want a motorbike, but Mrs. Snakeworks won't let me get one because she thinks I'm going to kill myself on it. Maybe one day we'll get one. Recently, I have mostly been watching Miniscape. He has made a wonderful video on old rhinos, which I thoroughly recommend you check out. If you haven't already, of course.
Problem is, these won't just slide on over the original tracks. You have to commit a heinous crime and slice off these protrusions.
We have a lovely looking light blue up next, Vallejo model colour deep sky blue, as opposed to shallow sky blue, I guess. Ha ha. Okay, so it's getting trickier now. We have to paint the very end of the barrel while still leaving the previous layer of dark blue showing. It just requires a little patience and a steady hand. A decent brush also helps. Sadly, all mine are on the way out. Can anyone recommend a good brush brand? Here we see the results of the light blue. The lighter blue has helped make the tip look like it's almost glowing hot. I think it looks pretty cool. You could actually leave it here if you wanted to and it would still look good. Why does it glow? I don't know, it just gets super hot. I don't know. I don't even know which area of science that would be.
Now there is one more step we need to add to really sell the effect. Not with money, just visually. I mean, I'd love to be able to sell it for money, but I can't. Now, if you fancy selling yourself for money or anything else hobby related, then please feel free to come along and join us on our friendly Discord server, which is not behind a paywall. There's a link to that in the description below, and I'll also stick one up here for you. We look forward to chatting to you there. The last paint we shall be using is Vallejo Model Air Chrome. We like this metallic as it's very shiny and it covers very well, unlike a lot of other light silvers on the market. Also, as it's an air paint, it doesn't really need thinning, so it's already a nice consistency. Using a dry brush, in this instance one of Mrs. Snakeworks' old makeup brushes, we dry brush the entire barrel with the chrome. What we do have to stipulate though, is that we're doing this very sparingly, as we don't want to cover up any of the previous colours we painted on. Just blend them in a little and re-add the metallic look to the edges of the barrel. Less is more, so if you're unsure, start with sod all and build up from there. This is the point we stopped, as we felt we'd hit the limits on how far we could take that chrome dry brushing. If we had added any more, I think it would have just rubbed out all our previous hard work, as it were.
While we put a big pile of used paints away, I just want to give a massive loving shout out to all our channel members and Patreons. Dan Yallop, Lee Blackley, Donald, Dixie Wrecked, Pine Tree, Bobzilla, Charles Marlowe, Andrew Marrington, Nick Ellingham, Briars and Bantams, Timbo, Sven V, SDKFZ, Fordweld, and our newest members, Craig McCahill and Mike Patterson. Thank you all so much for supporting us. If you want your name in lights and read out by me, Mrs. Snakeworks, then you can sign up using any of the links in the description below. We love you all.
We really do. Now lots of people say that less is more in these sorts of videos, and usually that term isn't really self-explanatory until you actually have a go at the thing yourself. Then it normally makes sense pretty quickly, which is nice. Now speaking of nice, if If you're enjoying this video, then please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. That means you, Christopher. And remember, Mrs. Snakeworks has said that when we hit 25,000 subscribers, we're allowed to order a Reaver Titan. So please smash that subscribe button and we can hit that target ASAP. If you are enjoying the content on the channel, then please consider joining us on Patreon, the link to which is in the description below, and I'll stick one up here for you. Or you can even become a channel member, which is becoming all the rage these days. Again, there's a link to that in the description below. Anyway, without further ado, let's check out the finished article, shall we? So here we have the finished Heat Bloom painted effect. We think it's come out rather well.
The effect was really easy to achieve, and all it took was a lot of different colours, a steady hand and some patience. Something we feel anyone can achieve.
You can use this effect on any weapon barrel really, but it usually seems to suit melter weapons and lascannons the most.
If we were to try it again, we would probably use more contrast paints over normal paint, but that silver dry brush at the end tidy things up nicely, so I don't think it matters too much. Whose fault is that? Why don't you check it first before I read this? At the end, tidied things up nicely, so I don't think it matters too much.
If you fancy having a go at this method, please let us all know which miniatures you'll be trying it out on in the comments below. We can't wait to hear about your results. I bet yours will be blooming lovely. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching.